Okay, so if you're doing business in Ontario, you need to know this. 2026 is the year the environmental rulebook was basically torn up and rewritten from scratch. We're talking everything, from how we recycle, to how we protect wildlife, to how we build our cities. The entire game is different. So let's dive in and break down what this new playbook actually means for your business. And I'm not just talking about a fresh coat of paint here. No. This is a complete overhaul. It's a fundamental reset of responsibility, of compliance, and believe it or not, of market opportunity for businesses right across the province. All right, first up, the first major chapter in this new book, the complete transformation of the iconic Blue Box program. It's all built around this idea called Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR, and trust me, it's creating a brand new battleground for business. So what exactly is EPR? Well, in a nutshell, it means the companies that actually make and sell packaged goods, the brand owners, the importers, they are now 100% on the hook for funding and operating the recycling system for those materials. The buck now stops with the producer, not with the taxpayer or the city. I mean, this slide really shows just how dramatic this shift is. Before this year, recycling was kind of a partnership, right? Municipalities ran the collection trucks and producers helped foot part of the bill. But now, as of January 1st, 2026, municipalities are pretty much out of the game and producers are fully in the driver's seat. Now, here's a major, maybe unintended consequence of this whole shift. As cities got out of the recycling business for homes, they also stopped serving their commercial clients. We're talking businesses, institutions, nonprofits. This has created this massive service gap, leaving what the industry is calling an orphaned commercial sector. And for savvy waste companies, this is a huge business opportunity. And for the producers who are now running this whole new system, well, the pressure is just immense. And let's be clear, these numbers you see here, they aren't suggestions. These are legally mandated recovery targets. We're talking a whopping 80% for paper, 75% for glass, and 50% for rigid plastics. And failure? Failure means facing some pretty serious penalties. Okay, so from managing our waste, we're now turning to the land itself. The next chapter in this playbook deals with species at risk. The government has brought in a new act, and with it, a new, and a very controversial way of approving development projects. So the old Endangered Species Act? It's gone. It's been replaced by the new Species Conservation Act, or SCA, which is now fully in effect. And it's designed around a totally different philosophy, one that's really aimed at speeding up approvals for construction and resource projects. And that philosophy is what they call a registration-first approach. The goal here is simple: speed. So instead of a long project-by-project permit review, developers can now just register most of their activities online as long as they promise to follow a standard set of rules to minimize harm. But this is where the debate really heats up. On the one hand, you have the government championing this as a way to cut red tape and build faster. But on the other hand, environmental groups are deeply concerned. They're arguing that a self-serve online system really limits actual oversight and might fail to truly protect our most vulnerable species. The new act also brought in some other really critical changes. Developers can now use what's called a pay-in-lieu option, basically paying into a conservation fund to offset environmental damage. And at the same time, the provincial protection list has been trimmed down, removing 42 species that are already covered by federal law to reduce what the government calls duplication. Okay, let's shift gears now to a sector that's seeing some major growth: wood manufacturing and construction. In this part of the playbook, it's not really about new restrictions. It's about removing barriers and, aiming for the sky. Literally. A really key change for manufacturers of composite wood products, things like particle board or MDF, that actually came in 2025. Canada amended its formaldehyde regulations to match the US standards. Now, that might sound super technical, but what it does is significantly cut red tape and very costly testing for these companies. This timeline just perfectly captures the province's ambition. Think about it. A little over a decade ago, you could only build a 6-story wood building. As of this year, thanks to Ontario's Advanced Wood Construction Action Plan, that limit has tripled to an incredible 18 stories. That is blowing the market wide open. Across all these different areas we've just covered, there's one powerful unifying theme that cuts through everything. It's all moving online. Digital compliance isn't just a suggestion anymore. It is the new mandatory standard. I mean, just look at the specifics here. Need a permit to take water? As of January 5th, paper is dead. It's digital only. Are you a waste hauler? You've got until August 1st to get that online registration updated. Moving more than 2,000 cubic meters of soil? You guessed it, you have to track it in the digital registry. The message could not be clearer. The future of compliance is online, period. And listen, the changes are far from over. The playbook already has the next moves mapped out. A full ban on landfilling clean soil is set to kick in next year, in 2027. And then by 2029, a ban on landfilling clean wood, what's being called rewood, is on the horizon. And what's really significant about this proposed rewood ban is the level of proof it's expected to demand. We're hearing it will require forensic-level proof, a clear, auditable, digital trail to prove your material was actually recycled, not just dumped somewhere. Which really brings us to our final thought. With producer responsibility demanding accountability and species protection moving to online registries and future waste bans requiring forensic proof, we are entering an era of hyper-traceable materials. So the question every single business needs to be asking is this: are you ready for the day your trash bin requires a digital passport?